Oh. Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if this is working yet. I'm having some technical difficulties, so I wish I had time to set this up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. But I better mute this. I can hear myself. There we go. Alright, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Yeah. Just kind of pressed for time this afternoon due to unforeseen circumstances, but welcome to the Vampire the Masquerade Coteries in New York live stream. I hope I'm coming through clearly. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So this is a what we call interactive novel. Back in the old days, this would be the equivalent of a choose your own adventure type game. So be sure to drop some comments and let us know how things are sounding. Seem to have lost a viewer, unfortunately. But anyway, we're live now. I'm going to start again. I do want to have a quick look at Facebook. I don't know if I should bring that up here, but anyway. I'm going to have a look at Facebook and see if anyone replied to my post regarding our clan. So let's have a look. No one seems to have replied. That's unfortunate. I'm just going to put a message here letting know that they're live now. Alright. So yeah, as I said, had some technical difficulties because setting up a stream for the first time on OBS can be a little bit time consuming, so do apologise for that, folks. Here we go. The music is a little loud. Okay, I can set that. Change that master volume. Let's turn it down about halfway. Is that a little better? Hopefully that's a bit better. He's still driving. No worries, Michelle. It's fine. Okay. That's all good. Alright. Usually 50% is the ideal for these types of streams. So. Anyway, so welcome to everyone who's watching. Yeah, by all means, drop your comments. I am checking out the live chat, so let's get into it. All right. So I only got one response for the clan. That's from my dear partner Stell. Thank you. And we're going to go with Ventru. So the options here. Let's read them out first. Bruja, the rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Then we got Ventru. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. And then Toreador. Divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. Well, no, because we're going to go with Ventru. I do have a soft spot for Toreador, but yeah, decided we're going to go with something different. Play a Ventru, and let's go for it. Now we've got to decide on a name, so I'm going to put it to everyone watching. while I eat a dim sum. So, Amanda the Ventrue. I don't know, something a bit more regal would be nice. Any ideas at all? Diana. Okay. Not a bad choice, actually. I think we could go with Diana. Diana. We'll go with that. Anyone else? Alright. You can see we've got three viewers, but one of them might be a little bit busy at the moment. But... Alright. Diana it is.
New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. We're all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not the face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was never to see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools.
I don't know, I kind of can't decide between an Aussie and an American accent. Alright, well, I'll try and go with American. It is New York.
My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival at JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be the day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it's so rare for you to visit New York 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much. Don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York. And I don't know about other cities, but this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins.
Hey, Ms. Nomad, welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you again, man. Yeah, how's things? Your phone rings. It's your boss, again. The setting sun that filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light from up here, spreading for miles to the north. You pick up. You're about to call it a day. Forget about the world of fintech and decompress at home. No dice.
One of the investors wants to meet you.
His voice is always it's a perfect mix of authority and sleaze.
He'll come by your office in an hour.
You look at the clock. An hour? He's got to be kidding.
Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression.
Fine. You grit your teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how to best use this to your advantage. Speaking of coffee. You suspect everyone knows that. No, you're actually not happy with your current position. That in fact, you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. Sure, your idiot supervisor might have gotten the job only because he's the CEO's golfing buddy, but you're going to put in an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Times were you'd laugh off the idea of staying at the office until 9 p.m. You had a partner to go home to, the nightly Netflix and chill ritual to perform, complete with pizza or Chinese takeout. Okay, busy with life, Ms. Nomad? No, Ms. Nomad, I'm not, absolutely not angry with you. Just, yeah, we're, well, as you can see, in a new place, still moving in, I believe introductions are in order. Please meet my partner, Stell. She's in the chat at the moment. Ms. Nomad is a very good and old friend of mine, and I do apologise for sort of dropping off the face of the earth for a while, but you know, life as it's been has been incredibly hectic, so hopefully this will go a little bit of a way to making up for lost ground, so my apologies. Ever since you moved up the ladder though, your hours have only gotten longer. Oh yeah, I moved again. Yeah, we're in a 4-bedroom house now, so that's nice. Oh, and you can see in the background, in the art pieces here, this is my partner Stell's work, and she helped me set up this backdrop here, so yeah. Food? Mostly at the company cafeteria. Sometimes takeout, always in a rush. You praise the heavens for your crazy metabolism and dread the day it finally decides to give up. Well, speaking of metabolism. Dim Sims. Good stuff. Thank you, Stell. By the way, Ms. Nomad, how do you like the new streaming mic? How's it sounding to you? Rest? At this point, the cleaning lady who takes care of your apartment probably spends more time in your bedroom than you do. You flash back to your boss quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive and uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while some must sleep. So runs the world away. Oh! Well, you know, it must be fate. Drinks, mostly with colleagues, and they all pretty much hate you at this point. Another flashback, this time to the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that layoffs were in order. Your boss didn't feel like letting people you know in person, so he passed that privilege on to you. How nice. I do apologise for this, folks. I had hoped to have already eaten, but as I said, things as they were. No, that's fair enough. Hopefully you can catch the archive stream and oh yeah, Alex, welcome. Thanks for joining us, mate. So if you missed it, we've gone with Ventru. Our character's name is Diana, and yeah, he's going over her life and thinking about how much it sucks and how much she's gonna push ahead no matter what. I have heard from 50. He is still not very well. Did just buy himself a Steam Deck though, so hopefully he can start playing Space Engineers again. But, no, the poor bugger's been through a really rough patch. Gotta hand it to him. He always knew how to pick his battles. But maybe, just maybe, tonight is the night it's all going to change. You decide to play the good looks angle. Nothing too slutty. You leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks as good as you remembered in your pencil skirt. Mirror says yes. It's not something you're proud of, but you become too jaded to care. Knowing your luck, the investor is going to be one of two types. A self-obsessed musk wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert drenched in cologne. Well, I don't know what's worse, honestly. My apologies again. You hear the elevator ding. Time to get the show on the road. You take one final look in the mirror and fix your hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches your office is not what you expected. He's slick, to be sure, but he seems a bit more refined than your usual company man. Expensive suit, matching tie and shirt, confident in his stride, surprisingly good looking. Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience. God, that voice. I'm taken aback by how smooth and strong it is. And his eyes, steel blue, cold, intense. Oh, nice. I'll pass it on to 50 as well, Ms. Nomad, and thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Well, I hope to do live streams more regularly. I'm going to try and do weekly live streams. It won't be as convenient for my American friends, but you know, with my work schedule, I've got to do what I've got to do. Oh, yeah, Ms. Nomad, she is absolutely amazing. That's why I love her. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for the feedback. He's all business, professional, treats you in a manner that's appropriate for your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and not at your cleavage. He has some questions about your work, tells you how he noticed your input after talking to the CEO, another golfing buddy, and comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. All the while, you try to guess his accent. You can't quite place it. European? Sure, but where from? I know you. I know I've kept you long enough. But would you indulge me and join me for a drink? Of course. For a minute there, it seemed like he wasn't that kind of guy. What the hell? You go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like you have other plans. The investor has a limo waiting up downstairs, and the driver takes you to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. A seat is waiting for you in the deluxe lounge. It's just the two of you. Fine, there you go. Ow. No, I am sorry, Ms. Nova, but yeah. I haven't had a lot of time for serious gaming. A little bit of gaming here and there, but no real time for any actual gaming, just off camera, let alone on camera. You talk about this and that. Your companion seems to have a knack for history. Yeah, alright, I deserved it. So tell me, what would you do if you had full control of the company? You almost choke on your wine. This is your chance. You say what's been on your mind for months, but hide it behind a veneer of professional corpo babble. Refocusing, listening to your instincts for once, restructuring, kicking out your boss, aggressively pursuing new markets, getting the hell away from all these horrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward. His eyes flash with intensity and something else. A strange emotion that wasn't there before. Just fine. His words echo inside your head as you black out. You wake up. God only knows how much later. As you try to piece together what happened, you hear a familiar voice. The investor, or whoever the hell he is talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragmented memories, his sapphire eyes intently locked with yours, his teeth suddenly longer and sharper. It's something else. A feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm. A company trip to Florida, a sweaty room, the cutie from HR who doesn't work there anymore. And then, darkness. Yes, I am done here. Consider my debt paid. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks away from the lounge, barely bothering to look at you. The door locks behind him. Yeah, Ms. Nomad, I have talked great length about you, actually. All good things, I promise. Some time passes before you find the strength to get up from your couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? You try to stand up, but your head is pounding and your stomach is like a heavy knot, pulling you down. You didn't have much time. You didn't have that much to drink. You must have spiked your wine. This is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, a feeling hits you unlike anything else you've ever felt before. You fall to the floor, writhing in all-encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn. That cannot be denied. You try to calm yourself with a breathing exercise they taught you at some bullshit mindfulness course. that's when it hits you. You're not breathing. And holy shit, your heart should be jumping out of your chest with that realization. But it's not moving. Not even a beat. I'm getting there myself, Ms. Nomad. It's my birthday coming up. This is why I'm doing the one of the reasons why I'm doing the live stream, because I got this as a very generous gift from some good friends here where I live. The Streamplify streaming mic. So the door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's outfit, his accent thick in an with an Eastern European harshness, leans over and asks if you're alright. For a brief moment, you wonder what the hell he's doing here. Everything is wrong. Then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. Everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands, and then you bite down. You sink your teeth right next to the old school pin-up tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm. It takes you a moment to process what you're doing. A part of you wants to break away, but a stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You're definitely enjoying this. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. You can see his eyes now pale blue and confused. You only bring yourself to let him go once he collapses to the floor. Your bite leaves a mess in his forearm. Poor Rita, bloodied, missing half her face. Did you just drink this guy's blood? Thank you so much, Ms. Nomad. Really appreciate it. Spit out a piece of torn flesh. That's a... Why? Where? What was in that fucking wine? Barely able to focus, your heart and your lungs still motionless. You reach for your phone and dial 911. 911 operator, what's your emergency? So, we have a choice, folks. Yeah. Yeah. So, folks, what are we going to do? Are we going to respond with, my heart stopped, I can't breathe, or I killed somebody? Decisions. Come on, folks. I'm gonna get you all involved in on this. That's fine. I can sit here and eat dim sims. Bloody hell. Alright, we've got my heart stopped. Anyone else? Ms. Nomad. Still got Alex here. And we'll give it another. No worries, Ms. Nomad. Now you take care, rest up, and hopefully we'll catch you for the next live stream. Oops. Yep, alright. We'll go with my heart stopped. My heart stopped! My heart, it's not beating!
Ma'am, where are you right now?
The door to the lounge swings open. The man who enters is not the one that brought you here, though there are similarities. He's tall for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit. But his skin is far darker, and the look on his face tells you he's not here to negotiate a deal. He notices a smartphone in your hand.
Pass me the phone if you want to live.
The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying a clear threat. He's got the aura of a viciously efficient corporate shark. You find it hard to argue with him.
Ma'am? Hello? I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night.
He disconnects the call and places your phone in his pocket. For whatever reason, you can barely take your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence is, though, it's also highly discomforting. I can't read tonight. See you later, Ms. Nomad. Rest well.
Good evening, miss. I'm here to pick you up.
Alright, we got another choice. So we've got, who are you? Pick me up? Or call an ambulance? I really hope this isn't picking up my chewing. So asking pick me up. Yeah. I was probably going to I was leaning towards these two. I think I'd be freaking out too much for that one. I guess we don't want. Well, we don't want too much dead air, so. All right, we'll go with pick me up. Pick me up?
Did I stutter?
The stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body.
Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway,
he then sets his sights on you.
I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. And going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them to where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody, secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to the destination in one place. In fact, most of them never reached the destination at all.
His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. No, it's not too loud with the chewing? Okay. Well, my apologising. Are you telling me not to be too loud, or it is not too loud?
So you see, well, I generally consider myself pretty smart. I'm also a Mets fan.
It's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with a three-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're out. Say, I understand, sir. Now. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. Right, so we've got, I understand, sir. Fuck you, sir. And what are you even talking about? So, 3 choices, as per usual. Alright, thank you. But I do apologise for eating on stream. I know it's not usually the done thing. I know a few people do, but they are really good dim sims though, I gotta say. No, did a stellar job, Stell. Mm-hmm. So we've got to vote for 1 vote for. I understand, sir. All right. I think we'll go with that. I'm just gonna check. Just quickly check something here. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not getting many responses to my live stream post. I did, unfortunately, set it up a bit too late. It is what it is, I guess. Anyway, we'll go with I understand, sir. I understand, sir. Stick to that tone, and you'll do just fine. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright. He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you? Terrible pun, was that? Sorry. Terrible pun. I'm gonna get a second monitor one of these days. Yeah. It was a terrible pun. But you know me. Alright, so we got boss, there's no one, I'd rather not answer. Well, I mean, she is a corpo shark, so I'm thinking it's probably there is no one. I don't think she particularly likes her boss. You think so? Alright, well I will defer to the viewer's judgment. No, I mean, we don't have to change it. We could save my boss, but... So... Are we locking in no one? Or are we going with my boss? Or are we going to phone a friend? No one? Okay. No, I don't have anyone. Stranger squints at you. No family, no lover, no friends, nothing. A job. Your blank stare tells him the whole story. He immediately stops prying and gives you something even worse than a look of pity. A look of honest compassion. Well, that makes things simpler. But let me be crystal clear, just in case. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under. And you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody know that you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and for them. That practiced tone again. You put on your poker face and listen in silence. So, unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. Don't tempt me. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. There's something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly you feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. Pass out. Excuse me. When you regain your senses, you'll find yourself in the stranger's arms. The man is holding you as he would a spouse who's had too much to drink. You try to break free, but he holds you close and gives you a cautioning look. Only when you cease your struggling does he let you go. Only now do you notice the change in scenery. You find yourself in a fancy lobby, right next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. Your companion gestures at the concierge as you pass, and he picks up the phone. The elevator arrives, the door opens, and the man motions toward the cabin. After you. Alright, so we go. I'm gonna scream, I'm not going anywhere, or where are we going? Honestly... I'll say, I mean, I would probably lean toward the third choice. Ah, we are in agreement. Okay then. Let's go for where are we going? Where are we going? To a safe place. That's all you need to know. Trust me, you don't want to make this difficult. Just get in. Okay. Call for help, demand to be let go. Step inside the elevator. I think the first one we can rule out. Possibly the second one. Being, you know, a strong-headed individual. Or step inside. Yeah, okay. I can go with that. Going against your instincts, you enter the cabin. Smooth jazz is playing over the speakers as the elevator starts its descent. You are dazed, panicky, but somehow locked in place. On the one hand, you find the stranger's presence oddly soothing. On the other, you can can feel your body tensing up with stress. You can't help but think back to the young waiter. The doe-eyed look on his face. The confused look he gave you just before... No, it's better not to think about it. Plus you have other things to worry about. Like the fact you're being kidnapped. The cabin door opens to the same garage you arrived at with the investor some hours ago. The man shows you a black Cadillac Escalade. I know what you're thinking. Getting into a car with some strange man. Boy, sure seems like a dumb idea. Maybe I can make a run for it. Maybe I might lose him. So let me be perfectly clear. Your best bet is to get in, relax, and enjoy the ride. So we got the waiter. What do you want? And I have money. I am curious about the waiter. Yep, the waiter. Okay. Do you think that waiter upstairs, is he going to be alright? Yes. You look at him in the eyes and can immediately tell he's lying. No more questions. Get in the car, please. I don't know. I mean, obviously making a run for it's a big mistake. I don't think we have much of an option but to get in the car. What does our audience think? Alright, car it is. It seems like the worst idea ever, but the man's made it very clear that you have no choice in the matter. Okay, so we've got, what's your name? I've got friends. And are you going to hurt me? Probably rule out this one, I think. I would think anyway. Trying to get to know something about your kidnapper makes sense, but also asking, okay, are you going to hurt me? Alright. Do we need to break out the song or no? Okay. Are you going to hurt me? No, not tonight at the very least. Unless you make me. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Listen, you really need to quit stalling. We are on a bit of a schedule here. The sun comes up in about 2 hours, and I don't intend to be here when it does. So we've got the sun, schedule, or what's this about? So, yep, reading the sun, schedule, or what's this about? Okay. What does it matter when the sun comes up? Oh, you really don't know, do you? Good thing I got here when I did. He opens the car door and gestures toward it. You see no point in delaying the inevitable, so you get in. The door locks behind you. Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. So we've got, how am I alive? Well, that's debatable. We already know that we're not breathing or our hearts, and our heart's not beating. Is this a joke? Or did I die? I think that last one makes the most sense, but let's see what our audience says. Okay. I will defer. How am I alive? My heart, it's not beating. Aren't you in big business? What do you need a heart for, anyway? Touché. Listen, I realize you have many questions. Tomorrow, I will get some answers. You will get some answers, sorry. But tonight, you need to do what I say. And right now, I need some quiet, please. You feel too confused to protest. You stay silent for the rest of the ride, even as more questions bubble up to the surface. One of them being, did you actually kill someone tonight? Staring out of the window, you find it hard to focus and quickly lose track of where you're headed. You can only tell that you haven't left Manhattan. Another underground parking, almost featureless. Empty. The car stops and the man opens the door for you. We're here. A stranger walks you to a nearby door. He opens it and motions you to get in. Go on in. Make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room. No windows. Just a simple bed, excuse me. And a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan in the wall. So we've got, you're leaving me here? That's not happening, and where are you going? And where are you going? I have to make some arrangements. For tomorrow, of course. Look, this room is your best chance of seeing another night. I realize you've been put in a problematic situation, and it's not entirely your fault. Cooperate, and you still might make it. You will learn more tomorrow, but for the time being, get in and get cozy. He gestures inside the room. Ooh, do we try to escape, or do we just go along with it? I mean, we've come this far. I mean, I would be in two minds. Like, I'd want answers, but I'm also like, is this prick setting us up for something? Okay. We'll go along with it, and we'll step into the room. You step inside. The stranger nods. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid. No label. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lay down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. At least it's not too filthy. You think back to how this evening began. This investor is friends with the dark-skinned stranger. Is he friends with the dark-skinned stranger who picked you up from the restaurant? What happens now? Unable to relax, you spend an hour or so playing out the various scenarios in your head. Eventually, you decide to give in and let exhaustion take over. Whatever tomorrow brings, you'll face it well rested. Plus, there's no way in hell your boss isn't going to notice your absence tomorrow. That and maybe some of the restaurant staff will feel a pang of conscience. Someone will notify the police. Someone will find you. Right? You flash back to the waiter's tattoo. The bloody Rita Hayworth winking at you over a pale mess of a wound. You did this. You bit him. Drank his blood. And it tasted good. What if you can never go home again? You're so tired. Your entire body tenses up one last time, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. Yeah, well, that's true still. Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what the hell's going on. So, one of the mechanics of the game, you can see on the side here, I don't know if you can see the cursor. I'm not sure if you can. But on the right-hand side, there's like, a bit of like shimmering blood, I guess. And that shows you that you're getting hungrier. So, it's not too bad at the moment. It's like once it completely encases the screen, it can be quite dangerous. But for now, yeah, got a little bit of hunger pangs, but we'll see what happens next. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 PM. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify you as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its colour and texture are off. You pull the cork out. You take a whiff. You recognise the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint. You remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Well, what do we do? I mean, I guess we could try and drink it. But I know it's probably going to happen, but that would be metagaming. So we'll see. Do we drink it, or do we put the bag back? I suppose we're going to have to learn. Probably learn the hard way. Ooh. So do we drink the bagged blood, or do we put the bagged blood back? You know what I really should have done? Bought some red cordial. Because we've got some skull mugs. Like skull glasses. You think put it back? Alright. We'll put it back. Something in your body wants you to have a sip from the bag. Somehow it's tempting. But the very idea makes you feel sick to your stomach. You cork the bag and put it back in the fridge. Some time passes. You try to piece together different thoughts, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click, see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt. Somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? Your face is good enough as an answer, I suppose. There's not much you know, but of this you are 100% sure. You look like shit right now. Come on, we've got places to be. No, it's fine. No. It's fine, honey. it's totally fine. No, I should have picked some up. Yeah, because I knew we'd run out. Because the kids did ask for some cordial over the weekend. That one's totally on me. The car is humming in the empty parking lot, just outside the door of the cramped room you've spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Right, do we make a run for it now? No? Yes? So we could rush the stranger, get inside the car, or hijack the car. Honestly though, I know we'd all like to think we play hero and oh, I'd fucking shoot up. Would you though? Really? Okay. And let's hijack the car. The car. That's your only option. You push past the stranger and rush to the driver's door. You open the car and reach for the keys. A strong, firm grasp on your shoulder yanks you back violently. You're thrown to the cold concrete, out of the car. The man produces a sharp piece of wood from his pocket and slams it into your chest. It's a sharp pain that makes all your muscles tense. Paralysis, then a feeling of all-encompassing exhaustion, blacking out. You can see the trunk of the car opening, then the trunk closing with your body inside. The last thing you sense is the engine starting. Then you're wrapped in all-encompassing nothingness. You drift into oblivion. You feel pain in your chest and hear a wet squelch-like sound. You suck air through your teeth as you awake, hoping this is all a nightmare. Alas, that gasp is just an instinct. You don't actually breathe in, nor out, and your heart is as still as before. You're in a brightly lit room, paintings on the wall, soft music. An art gallery? Yeah, I knew that too. I mean, okay, so it is a bit metagamey, but Kadir, in the actual World of Darkness lore, is not a sheriff you want to be fucking with. Might have given that away, but that's all I'll say on that matter for now. The stranger is here, holding a stake in his hand. There are more people too. Many more. All staring at you. You look down. Your clothes are ripped around your sternum. You touch your chest. You realise there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and flesh around them. This nightmare keeps going strong. Get up. You stand up. About 24 faces observe your every move, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. None of them are acknowledged by the people they're attending. The guests are well dressed, mostly, but it's unclear why they've gathered here. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Something about everyone's eyes makes it abundantly clear. They are here for you. I think the fledgling is ready to take your questions, Prince. is. You look at who the stranger was addressing. You expect a man. It's a somewhat plain-looking woman.
So it would seem, Gadia. Good evening, child.
Alright. So we've got good evening, miss. Excuse me, what? And what is this about? So, which one would we like to go with? I mean, what is this about seems the most... Oh, okay. Okay, we'll go, excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what?
The Prince of New York City, Helena Panhard, child of Michaela, is addressing you, whelp.
Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself.
She doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has an influence over these people, that much is clear.
You shall address me as Prince, child. I am told you have proven. I am told you have proven to be quite a burden to our dear sheriff, Kadir, this night. And after being relatively cooperative the night before too, whatever got inside your head?
I'm trying to do French accent. It's really hard after eating dim sims. Just gonna say that. Hushed voices fill the room. One of the faces catches your eye. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her leaning over to some bespectacled man. She looks at you, briefly, but with interest. The woman who calls herself Prince glances around the room expectantly. The whispers cease.
We have already heard all we need to hear about your behavior. But there is one thing that only you may know. Your sire, the person who brought you here where Kadir picked you up last night. Who was they?
What the hell's a sire? Yeah. It doesn't matter, and a handsome businessman. Would she be smart enough to work it out? Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. Let's go with sire.
Sire? What do you mean? Your patron and the one responsible for introducing you into our society. Or at least, that's the way it should be under normal circumstances. I would very much like to know who they are. Indulge me.
You find it impossible to decline a final request. Something in her voice makes you want to please her, and you hear yourself speak.
An entrepreneur. Acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good looking. Pale blue eyes and some grey in his hair. Charming, abrasive, cold son of a bitch.
You stop yourself from saying more, and then realize there's really not much more to talk about. A nagging thought enters your mind. How did this prince persuade you with such ease?
Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar?
No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. So we've got, can I go now? What happens now? And he talked with somebody at the restaurant. I mean, you did talk with someone. I mean, if we want to get answers, yeah. I think we should go with that third option. Yep. Okay. That man, he talked to somebody at the restaurant before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's a lead you can follow? Did he now? That is interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't stay mad at us for losing one of his staff. Excuse me. It's almost like he knows the waiter's fate is still bothering you, and he takes pleasure in pointing it out. I will investigate it. Later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am eager to do my duty. Stay your hand for a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult with my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He relaxes a bit and closes his eyes. The prince leaves the main showroom, and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. There can be only one verdict given in the circumstances. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stay in your hands tonight after all. I already have, thanks to this whelp's insolence. Do not use one fledgling's beast speaking up in a moment of terror as a justification for heeding the voice of your own, Sheriff. Hypocrisy suits you ill. That grabs his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, resolve. Damn you, Langley. His eyes flare up with contempt. 5 minutes, and not a moment longer. He storms out of the room the way he came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well, fledgling, you managed to get under Kadir's skin. Not an easy feat. You are in a precarious position and in need of allies. You're lucky I've decided to attend this meeting tonight. Alright, so we've got, you're willing to help me? I'll do fine on my own, and maybe you'll tell me what's going on. Honestly, folks, I am getting full. So many dim sims. Lovely, though. So, will we get some answers, maybe? Read my mind, sweetheart. So we'll go with, maybe you'll tell me what's going on. Tell me you're here to explain what the hell is going on. I am. Let me cut straight to the point. Last night you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I'm well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's why we have nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of your patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. It's not the right thickness, and not the right colour either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, and there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised? This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you'll be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, on one condition. You're in hot water after Kadir's account of your behavior thus far. This society values docility. I'm taking a huge risk if I speak out for you, but I'm willing to take you under my wing, if you swear fealty to me. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. Alright. So we can go with what happens if I agree, what if I refuse, and how will you convince the prince? How indeed. I mean, well, all of these are pretty valid choices. I'm not sure what our audience would like to do, maybe? Alright, we'll go with what happens if I agree. Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You'll survive, hopefully. Or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will guide you in this new reality. And you will assist me, like a child with a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. Seems the prince and a council returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well, and starts walking over to you, glowering. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a sad smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colourful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of New York City, Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. As you are all keenly aware, these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. The whelp's behavior since being embraced has been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member in our society. Although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a shy-looking man whose skin is a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference.
I hold in the final authority of this fledgling's fate, and declare that while their embrace might be their sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that shall be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir?
You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade, which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up.
2 outs, bottom of the 9th.
His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you know just a hint of sadness is in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination.
And is all too bad.
You will not get another chance to speak up. So, do we ask for mercy? Do we escape the gallery? Do we remain silent? Well, I'm pretty sure 2 of these options are going to end the game. It's not really a choice, is it? Escape the gallery, remain silent. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a surprise twist or something. Who knows? Mercy? Alright, yeah, I think that's a sensible choice. So let's go with that. You make your choice.
Spare me, please. Don't make me beg, goddammit.
Prince, if I may ask you to stay in the sheriff's hand for a while longer?
Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting a response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice.
Is there something you would like to say, Miss Langley?
Yes, if I may.
At first the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest. Some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods.
Well, let's hear it.
Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't be taking advantage of the distraction.
My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance they could become an asset to our domain.
And I understand that you are volunteering to take this unruly child under your protection.
Yes, I am willing to give them a chance, and prove to the entire domain that they can adhere to our expectations. I will take nothing less than their full cooperation, naturally.
Whiskers. Yes, there's lots of cats around. Whispers can be heard again. An incredulous voice or two. A hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise.
Silence! I ask all of you to take note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley?
I am willing to guide this fledgling to add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you.
Do we remain silent? Or do we butt in and say, give me a chance? Or do we say, this wasn't part of the deal? I think that last one could be a bit dicey. that our character knows that she is a adventurer, though. She tend to be a bit outspoken. Maybe she would... I think she would... Yeah, she would, say something, maybe. So... Last one? Alright. Okay. Not what I go for, but I would defer, again, to the audience.
You didn't say anything about right of destruction, Sophie. This was not part of the deal.
His grip tightens on your arm like a vice. His other hand goes for his sword again.
Oh, is that what you talked about, Sophie? Some kind of deal. And here I thought you wished to help the fledgling out of the goodness of your heart. It seems that I may have missed a crucial conversation. Care to elaborate, Miss Langley?
I have merely offered to speak up for the child in return for their loyalty. No more, no less. They did not even grasp that they are kindred. They do not know about our society or our rules.
And when did not knowing the rules exempt one from being punished when they break them?
A frigid silence fills the gallery. After this, I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a break. I'm getting a bit of dry mouth, a cotton mouth. So I'll take a 5 to 10 minute break after this, folks. But I will be back. So
I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction, if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla.
she would say Camarilla.
Substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley.
Of course, Prince. Thank you.
Very well.
She turns to you.
What is your name, child?
Do we give her the name? So we can just give her a name, Diana. We could ask, shouldn't I use a nickname? Or will I even have the chance to use it? I mean, these two seem a bit... Maybe the last one. This one seems a bit too... in your face. Still waiting. Third option, okay.
Given how hard you've been trying to kill me, I wonder if you're going to have a chance to use my name at all.
He visibly tenses up at this, and so does Sophie. The prince remains unfazed.
I have no obligation to call you anything, dear, but I might start using your name.
He first takes on a husky and irresistible tone.
If you would be so helpful as to share it with us.
You blurt out your name, wanting nothing but to please the prince.
Diana.
A mirthless smile appears across her face. She nods.
Welcome to the Camarilla, Diana. Now, the evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard to change between accents, especially on Cottonmouth.
Thank you for all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it, Kadir. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties.
Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery.
If it wasn't for my sheer pride, I would have withdrawn my offer there and then. What were you thinking, mouthing off like that? I need a drink. You probably do as well.
She raises her hand as one of the well-dressed concierges have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it in 2 tall glasses. You can barely wait until he hands you the drink. Your attention is fully on it. The fact that it's blood, you're certain of it, doesn't faze you this time. While Sophie sips her drink, you realise the thirst. No, this hunger can only be satiated by drinking the whole glass in almost a single gulp. You are taken aback by how wretched it tastes. And then you throw up. Just like that, the crimson liquid exits your throat in a stream. Your entire body tenses, as if it wanted to get rid of every last drop. Sophie's shocked. So are the remaining few guests. A posh woman curses you out quietly. You barely manage to avoid spraying it all over your clothes. Sophie's, over the gallery wall, the abstract painting next to you. A small, disgusting puddle forms at your feet. What a humiliating shit show.
Don't let it bother you. New York City caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like, and some of us do have delicate palates. You just need to keep trying. Try taking smaller sips.
She waves at one of the staff, and they soon start mopping up. In the meantime, the concierge serves you 3 other variants of blood. The first 2 are as horrible and indigestible as before, both ending up back in the glass within moments of tasting them. Before the 3rd try, you're almost ready to throw the glass at the wall in frustration. But finally, this one's different. Instead of mud and decay, a surprisingly rich bouquet of tastes. You feel blissfully at ease. Sophie takes notice.
Ah, there it is. Jacob, would you kindly let us know who the vessel was? Leave the bottle, please.
The concierge nods and leaves again. You take another sip, and another. You empty the glass. The dull feeling in your stomach and head starts subsiding. But you still want more. Sophie pours you another glass and refills hers. She takes a sip.
You have a curiously specific taste, Diana. Is it the clover notes, the traces of caffeine, or that bittersweet aftertaste of melancholy?
You taste nothing of the kind, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty. But not as delicious as it was last night. Not as intoxicating. It manages to silence the hunger somewhat, though. Looks like drinking blood puts you at ease, when you can keep it in. It's a strange realization. The man named Jacob comes back with a small card and leaves it with Sophie. She takes a quick look and passes it on to you. It's somebody's medical details. An office worker. Male, Caucasian, 32 years old. Blood type ABRH+. Blue eyes, brown hair. No history of substance abuse. New Jersey native. Might be one of these details be what makes the difference.
Now that we picked the right bouquet for your palate, these documents should be useful in identifying your exact taste. Should they be ORH Plus or Joyzy Boys?
I was going to say Joy Sex Boys. I don't know. Anyway.
I believe you have more questions, no? Perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance.
Okay. So we've got how much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? And how will I know what I can drink? So, how much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? And how will I know what I can drink? I think that's the third option? Not sure. I missed that. It doesn't give me a timestamp of when that comment was, so yeah. Oh, screw it. I'll go to the third one. I think that's what you meant. Oh, second. Sorry. So where do you get blood? Alright. It's kind of weird that you have waiters serving blood. Where did you get it from?
That can be a bit of a touchy topic. Let's just say that most of the blood available at events like this is crowdfunded. Did I get that right? It's hard to keep track of modern language. At any rate, what I mean is that there is a plethora of vessels on tap. As for where to get the blood, when you're not at Elysium, tomorrow, I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. What you need to know right now is that no matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more, unless you consume some unholy with the last drop. But even that doesn't last. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood is more satiating than almost anything could be served in a fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse.
So, what do you mean by hunting? You mentioned a beast, and what will you expect of me? Do we want to know more about the beast? I mean, I'm pretty sure we'd know what she means by hunting. The beast... I'm pretty sure... maybe we can extrapolate what's meant by that. Third one's probably an important topic. No, what does our audience think? Any ideas? Beast, okay. That beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor or?
Oh, it's quite real, although not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us, our nature and hunger manifest. There's more religious among us, connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all its descendants. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment, not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship to their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the Masquerade.
Concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty.
I'm being told that the gallery is about to close. But we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come.
The smile she puts on could tip any negotiation towards her favour. Her words are like honey, and she makes it impossible to take your eyes off her. You're under her spell momentarily. Sophie leads you to a luxurious Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately.
Where did we leave off? Ah, I believe I started telling you a bit about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So, to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular?
Shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before.
Our clandestine ways help us to remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip-up to the rational minds of the 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals.
So we've got, what's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? And what about my career then? What do we think? I don't know. I'm pretty sure we know our career's over. Maybe not. Who knows? So, what are our choices, folks? Or what is our choice, folks? I should say. So we've got what's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? And wait, what about my career then? She's a corporate shark. She might be thinking about yep, okay. I was just thinking she might be thinking about how she could use this to her advantage. So alright, we can go with wait, what about my career then?
So, what you're saying is, who I've become must remain a secret. What about my job then? My career? Is it over, just like that?
Not necessarily, but you'll need to step lightly. It goes without saying, you will need an explanation for your disappearance. And it will be a few more nights before I let you go it alone. You might be one of the kindred now, but that comes with some caveats. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest you in the day. You felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstances, can be the same thing. You're familiar with the sensation, I'm sure.
You see a point. You see her point to the closed wound in your chest. Though the tattered clothes where the stake entered are more of a reminder of your defiance at this point than any pain or discomfort is. For a second, you expect your heart to beat faster. Then you remember it's impossible.
That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight.
Alright, so how can you trust your driver? So it's good to keep human friends? And do vampires watch each other's backs? Well, all good questions. So, we've got, how can you trust your driver? So it's good to keep human friends, and do vampires watch each other's backs. And welcome to everyone who's just joined us. Feel free to chat, and interact with us in the live chat if you are so inclined to do so. And I'm, just to reiterate, I am leaving a lot of the choices, well, most, if not all the choices, up to the audience. So feel free to jump in and help us decide what path we will be following. Ask about Gregory. Okay. So you can trust your driver.
Your driver must know who he works for, right? I mean, he's right there. Surely he can hear everything we're saying. How can you trust him to keep your secrets?
His loyalty is assured by partaking of my blood, but his loyalty extends beyond just this dependency, as I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you if you ask. It's a nice change of pace. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage counting on someone. Support given in exchange for favors, yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. When you're in Elysium, like we were tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is more complex. Outside of official gatherings, shady details and a quid pro quo mentality reign supreme. She seems to be lost in thought, falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You're in the city, in front of an old, well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings?
So we've got my own apartment. Neat. Is it another parking lot room? And do I get a loyal servant? So, which ones would we like to choose, folks? So we've got my own apartment. Neat. Is it another parking lot room? And do I get a loyal servant? Loyal servant sounds nice, doesn't it? Yes. I somehow doubt it would be, if you're looking at a nice building, although looks can be deceiving. So what do we think, folks? We think my own apartment neat? Is it another parking lot room? Do I get a loyal servant? Put in your choices, folks. Alright. Is it another parking lot room?
Is it another drab safe room in an underground parking lot? For my safety and all that?
Don't be ridiculous. You're not a sireless fledgling in Kadir's stern grasp anymore. And even he wouldn't hold you there any longer than necessary. I think. Anyway, come upstairs.
She leads you through a small hall with a night guard, who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. Oh, I do. I absolutely do. Oh, I'm sorry, see how we, must be a bit of a delay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I will try to wait a bit longer in future. The back room has a comfortable looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy looking locks, but no windows.
Well, how do you like it?
Let's see. This is great, thank you. What? Can I choose another? Well enough, I guess. So we've got this is great, thank you. What? Can I choose another? Well enough, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if we've got... I do have the fastest available connection, but if we've got a lot of people in our household on devices at the moment, there may be a bit of a delay. Though it shouldn't... Yeah, it might affect uploads a little, but... it shouldn't affect the stream overall, though. But I'm happy to wait. We'll go with a... Oh, thank you. So this is great. Yeah. Sorry, I was a bit of a joke there. So we can go, this is great. Anyone else want to have some input? I'm happy with this is great. I'd like to get a bit of input, but alright, well, going once, going twice. Alright, first option is sold. We'll go, this is great, thank you. This is great, thank you.
I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case.
It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Hey, that's me. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling at each other over things that seemed a little less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. You start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night. You settle in the back room. The bed is comforting. The lack of windows, less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realise it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. The wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, consciousness fades, and you take the plunge into darkness again, sinking, 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 sinking. Alright, so I think this is a good time, before I take a small break, folks, let's go through the dictionary. So we'll start with, let's go with all, and we'll go with kindred. So kindred, the Camarilla term for vampires as a whole, or a single vampire. According to rumour, this term came about in the 15th or 16th century after the Anarch Revolt. The Camarilla, or Camarilla, a major sect of vampires devoted to primarily maintaining the Masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. Fledgling, a newly created vampire, still under their sire's protection. Prince, a vampire who is claimed to give an expansive domain as their own, generally a city, and supports the claim against all others. Yep, okay. The term can refer to a kindred of either sex. The hunger. The urge to feed. For vampires, the hunger replaces all other drives with its own powerful core. Vessel. A source of blood for sustenance or pleasure, primarily mortal. The beast. I'm not sure how to pronounce the inchoate. The inchoate drives. Is that? I'm not. Don't know if I'm saying that right. And urges that threaten to turn a vampire into a mindless, ravening monster. We've got Cain, the mythical figure considered to be the first and most powerful vampire. Some vampires refer to themselves as Cainites, members of the race of Cain. The Masquerade. The habit, or tradition, of hiding the existence of vampires from humanity, designed to protect vampires from the destruction at the hands of mankind. The Masquerade was adopted after the medieval Inquisition claimed many kindred unlives. The traditions. The 6 traditions from the core framework for governance among the kindred. The first tradition, the Masquerade, thou shalt not reveal thy true nature. The second tradition, the domain. Thy domain is thine own concern. All others owe thee respect while in it. The third tradition, the progeny. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. The fourth tradition, the accounting. Those thou create are thine own children. Their sins are thine to endure. The fifth tradition, hospitality. Honour one another's domain. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing. The sixth tradition, destruction. Thou art forbidden to destroy another of thy kind. The right of destruction belongeth only to thine elder. We've got kine, a term for mortals. Largely contemptuous, the phrase kindred and kine refers to the world at large, everything. Sect. A group of vampires arguably united under a common philosophy. The 2 most widely known sects currently populating the night are the Camarilla and the Anarch movement. And then there is also... okay, well I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I was feeling a bit dumb for a sec there. So, yeah, I've never seen it before either. But there is a third sect. I may as well mention it now, and that is the Sabbat, who are much more extreme version of the Anarchs, and they have no or very little respect for the Masquerade, except if it serves their purposes. So we've got Sire, a vampire's begetter, the kindred who created them. Elysium, a place where vampires may gather without fear of harm. Court functions in Elysium are strictly kept apart from mortals and surrounded by secrecy. But the Elysium building itself could be a public museum, a gallery, or club. Berghain is an Anarch Elysium. The Louvre is a Camarilla Elysium. I was going to say asylum then. The sheriff ensures that the traditions and the decrees of the prince are obeyed, hunts down violators, and delivers just punishment. In the case of minor violations or known enemies of the Camarilla, the sheriff is usually authorized to act as both judge and jailer/executioner. But when it comes to greater offenses, they will deliver the accused to the court to be judged. So that's our definitions for the moment. I hope that's sort of filled things in a little bit. And folks, I'm going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, and we'll be back. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm hoping to go through to about 9 o'clock, so we'll see. Alright, don't go away, plenty more to come. back. Did you miss me? Alright, so we've got a definition here. Thank you, Stoll. Adjective. Just began. And so not fully formed or developed. Okay. Rudimentary. And 2. Law of an offence such as what is it? Incitement, is it? Incitement or conspiracy, anticipating or preparatory to further criminal act. Okay. I should also mention, folks, the more likes we get on this stream, the more visible it is. So don't forget to hit that like button. That will be greatly appreciated. But anyway, let's rest for the night. Also for the day. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. Anyway, just seeing if I could make the live chat a bit bigger, but I can't. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. So, blocked off option, and we've got continue. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Alright, so yeah, blocked off option, and we've got feeding opportunity. You'll need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Right, so we rest during the day. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the cord over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you were fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time. 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You miss the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this out all by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't a bad idea. Isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels around for half an hour and then switching to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie.
Good evening, Diana. Slept well?
Alright, so we've got like a baby, like a dead man, or it's not exactly sleep, right? It's not exactly sleep. Definitely not the first one. So which option are we going to go for? Oh, and we have a new subscriber to the channel. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Last option. It's not exactly sleep right. I think that's a viable one. What do our other viewers think? And thank you, CR, for your input. Agreed? Alright, let's go with it's not exactly sleep.
It's not really like normal sleep, is it?
I suppose it isn't. Some say it's like being dead. But we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it now, anyway. Except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself. Your blood, its desires, and its power. We will begin tonight. You're hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy. The blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way to slake your thirst. So tonight, I will assist you on your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage.
Alright, so I'm ready to learn. No more freebies. Predator and prey, huh? Grim. So, I'm ready to learn. No more freebies. And predator and prey, huh? Grim. All pretty equally viable, I think. What do we think, folks? Predator and prey, huh? Grim. Dealer's choice. Okay. Well, let's go with the last one, huh? Let's do this one.
So let me get this straight. We are predators. Humans are prey. That's pretty grim.
I know what you feel. Remember the notion, but you will inevitably grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive. There are many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. And I remembered how to talk then. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct?
She gives you a sly, knowing smile.
That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed.
Alright, so how do you avoid being seen? How do you cover your tracks? And how do you select a victim? Oh, how do you avoid being seen? How do you cover your tracks? And how do you select a victim? Three choices, and maybe the option to phone a friend, who knows. How do you select a victim? Alright. Alright, victim it is. How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse, targets?
Isolated kind are the easiest prey, of course, but much depends on context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. With time, you'll have the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting in moderation. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us.
The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break you from your train of thought. The driver opens the door for her, and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy, in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be. But compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline.
Come, Diana. Park the car, Gregory, will you?
The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her. The two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage, with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back. Then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of the security guard. You follow close and are let through without an issue.
Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I am hoping to procure you for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. It's what I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah, there he is.
She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees.
Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There is somebody I'd like you to meet.
The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit with this crowd.
Julie, this is Diana. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other.
The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step.
If you're with Sophie, then, I guess you're, I mean, that, you know.
She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip. Then looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. So we've got, yeah, I do. Or, I don't know what you're talking about. Or, what, you're into that sort of thing? I mean, we do know. She's already been told. We could play it dumb. Or we could ask her if she's into that sort of thing. So what do we think, folks? Yeah, I do. I don't know what you're talking about. Or, what, you're into that sort of thing. Sort of thing. Is she into it? Okay, everyone seems to be in agreement here. So we'll go into what, you're into that sort of thing.
What? You're into that sort of thing?
She blushes, looks down at the floor, nods.
Could you? I mean, if you'd like. Miss Langley tells me
She swallows hard, avoids your eyes.
that I taste nice.
So, our choice. Do we have a drink? Or do we not have a drink? I mean, I think we should have a drink. We are a bit hungry. That's just my 2 cents worth. I'll defer, of course, to the audience. So, are we thirsty? And the big question is this really coffee? Drink. Alright, we've got a drink. Of course we're gonna drink. Yes, alright. I mean, we're a goddamn vampire. Of course we're gonna drink. Alright. You take your forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood out of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. You tear away from her. A brief convulsion shakes you. Her smell. It's a smell. It's not right. The temporary feeling of bliss the girl felt when you bit her is gone in an instant. She's disappointed, annoyed even. She looks at you, unsure of what's the matter.
Come back, please. Just have some more. Just a little bit more.
The very thought makes you want to throw up what little of her blood you've tasted. You shake your head. The girl sniffs, starts crying, wipes her face into her jacket sleeve, and walks down the stairs into the hall. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly, looking at her now, and some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. I came over you before. You walk over to her.
Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we do need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with Diana.
Mary is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you.
So, how did it go?
Do we lie and say she was tasty? And then do we say, how did what go? You people are sick. Or I tried, but... So... think it'll be a little bit of hypocrisy saying you people are sick. Maybe the fourth. Okay, I can only suggest things, but I would think maybe the fourth one, if we're honest. Maybe we could get some answers. We could play dumb. So earlier it was made clear you have a very particular type of victim that suits you. Yeah, okay. I tried. I agree. Let's go with that one.
I tried, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand the smell or the taste.
Curious. I consider Julie's blood to have one of the most exquisite and unique bouquets in the city. Then trust me, I have refined taste.
She almost sounds like she's offended.
Oh well, if at first you don't succeed, perhaps you need a change of pace. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please.
The driver takes the car over to Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. So, what did you do to the people back there? What's this about training wheels? Or why Flushing Meadows? First one could get some answers as to why we felt the way we did about looking at it and then realising she's not all that. But then again, learning a bit more about ourselves might be helpful as well. Yeah, tough call. I'm going to leave it to the audience. No dealer's choice this time. What did you do back there? So we've got one for what did you do to the people back there? Oh, training wheels. Oh, okay. Should have had a dice. I should have had a dice handy. All right, I will go get one. I'll be right back, folks. Seeing as though Vampire the Masquerade is a D10 base game, I'm going to roll a D10, and we'll go 1 to 5 will be what did you do back there, and training wheels will be 6 to 10. Alright, so you'll just have to trust me on this roll. We've got 9, which is 6 to 10. So we'll ask, what's that about training wheels?
What do you mean by training wheels?
Julie was a proving ground for you to try your hand at controlled feeding. Now it's time for a real hunt. And that will require you to put in extra effort. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I can see more of the world in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt.
Alright, so could ask, what are my powers? Or how do I use my powers? Do I need my powers to hunt? So what are my powers? How do I use my powers? And do I need my powers to hunt? The choice is up to the folks at home. We'll go with the same rules as before too, if there's a split decision. So at the moment, because there's only 2 of you interacting, we'll go 1 to 5 for one choice and 6 to 10 for the second. If you're both in agreement, then no dice. Do I need them to hunt? Yeah. Yes, hunting with powers. So you're both in agreement? Alright, we'll go with, do I need my powers to hunt? So you're saying it's best to use these talents when hunting?
They are useful, certainly, but their utility is universal. Survival, violence, intrigue, entertainment, and pleasure too. Some nights. Always keep the Masquerade in mind, however. It is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and time.
It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight, the stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city.
I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go, look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim. Just one. Then come back.
Seeing how she seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie with her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby. Worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis courts nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realise you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. So we've got some options. Search for a victim around the park, hunt near the decrepit pavilion, look for prey at the tennis courts, or take a walk but don't feed. Well, so let's go through our options here. Search for a victim around the park. It could be a hit or miss one, I think, with that one. Hunt near the decrepit pavilion. I somehow doubt we would be into drinking from a wino or a bum. Look for prey around tennis courts sounds promising. Take a walk but don't feed. Could be viable. I mean, I don't know how hungry we actually are. I mean, oh well, it looks like we're a little hungry. We did get a little bit of blood from Julie, but it wasn't particularly pleasant. So, it doesn't seem to be bothering us too much right now, but it might pay to... What's G's? Blood worked before. Well, we did have... Hang on, we can go back through the notes here. So let's go right back. No, it's only given us that night. I probably should have taken note of that. I know we had a certain blood type, I remember that, but I'm thinking tennis courts as well, but yeah, it sucks because we can't really go past this part from when we opened our eyes at the beginning of the night. Oh well. God, I should have taken note of that. Oh, I'm kicking myself now. Oh, this is why you take notes, though. Yes. I'm tending to think tennis courts, though, since we didn't take note of it. Tennis. Yeah. So the blood that worked before, we drank. It was our third glass that we drank in Elysium, and we did get the details, but yeah, I wish there was some way of bringing that up. But anyway, so we'll look for prey at tennis courts. So we're all in agreement on that one. You decide the tennis courts are as good a place as any, and you make your way to the bright glow of the lamps illuminating the area. As you guessed, a pair of players, two men, fit but older, maybe pushing 60, finishing up a match. They're the only ones there. It's time to make a move. Alright, so do we just barge into the showers and potentially breach the Masquerade? Or do we use our presence ability and try and lure one of the players away? Well, I think it's an obvious choice, given what we've been told, but I will defer to the chat. Jersey boys, right. That is, yeah, Jersey boys, alright. That was one of the clues, yes. But that gave us a whole list of criteria. I think that was one of the possible options. I don't think it was necessarily the conclusive answer. I know there was a certain blood type as well, so it could have even been that. But in this instance, do we lure a player away or do we barge into the showers? It's the choice here, folks. Lure. Okay. White male blonde. Well, I think this is going to be our best bet anyway. So, being a couple of older tennis players, maybe. So what's our choice still? Lure or barge into the showers? Right, lure it is. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall. She managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. You wait patiently until the two men hit the showers, get out and say their goodbyes. They go their separate ways and one of them notices you standing there. You immediately grab his attention.
Good evening.
So we go, oh yes, very good, you. Or you can make it better. Or I've had better. So 1, 2, or 3. Better. There's one choice. I mean, I suppose we can all relate to that one. Yep, alright, we can definitely all relate to that one. We'll go with I've had better. Truth be told, I've had better ones.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Anything I can do to help?
You decide there won't be a better moment to strike. Moving closer, casually at first, then closing the distance in a single leap. You sink your fangs into his flesh. It only takes a sip to realise your mistake. A taste of mud and bile fills your throat a second time tonight. You push the man away. He stumbles and falls to the ground. You barely believe your luck. The hunger in you unsated, you leave the courts in a foul mood. Damn it. As you're about to walk back to Sophie, a figure emerges from the shadows and stops you in your tracks. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you.
What do you think you're doing budging in my turf like this, lick?
So, what have we got here? Well, alright, thanks for popping in, CR. Yeah, well, yeah, CR, it's I'm going to be finishing up soon anyway, so it's probably good timing. Thank you for joining. And yeah, there will be an archive of the stream in a little while. So actually, it'll be available straight away. But if you want better quality, it'll be up in a few hours. So thank you so much. All right. Slur options are lick. What kind of slur is that? Didn't mean to trespass. I'm gone. Piss off. What else? Lick. Okay. What did you call me? A lick? What is that supposed to mean?
Don't goof me. I know what you are. Shove that masquerade bullshit up your ass. Better tell me who you're with before my posse shows up. We beat it out of you.
So, do we tell the truth? We say we're here with Sophie or the Camarilla? Or do we go big talk coming from a chump? So, we basically tell them to fuck off or be straight up with them. Jump, or are we going to we're going to be honest and go with either Sophie or with the Camarilla? Sophie. Okay.
I came here with Sophie Langley. She's my patron. Doesn't ring a bell. Sounds fancy, though.
He licks his lips, exposing his fangs and looking at you voraciously. A nervous tick or an attempt at intimidation?
I wonder, what would Callahan do to you if I brought you in? Huh? Break your shins? Leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Ooh, concrete shoes maybe. He's old school like that.
Excuse me. Okay. Do we attack him, call for help, or try to use Dominate? Force him to back down. Interestingly, it would be nice if we could... it'd be interesting if we had an option to feed on this guy. Maybe we might. Can always go with Kindred Vitae. Dominate. Alright, dominate it is. Enough's enough. You won't be intimidated by this asshole. Leave. Now. His countenance changes. A cruel beast one moment, a humbled pup the next. He walks away. Just like that. How did you do it? Not wishing to tempt fate any further, you return to the Unisphere, looking back over your shoulder to make sure you're not being followed. Two figures are visible near the sculpture, a man and a woman, tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. But this whole scene is set up so it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. This man is unsure on his feet, and she lets go of him and leads him toward a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. A driver appears from behind a tree.
Well, Diana, how did it go?
You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips.
You're screwed, dumb fuck. You think you'd mess with my head and get away with it? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too.
He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed.
I see that you've made a friend, Diana. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he?
So, he knew I was a vampire, he said this was his turf, he mentioned a Callahan. So many choices. All three of them. So, he knew I was a vampire, he said this was his turf, and he mentioned a Callahan. So 1, 2, or 3. Mention a Callahan. Okay. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, and then recovers her regular countenance.
Yes, I have. This hoodlum is an anarch, then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last time I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance.
He carries the staked vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. The sight gives you the sudden urge to touch your own chest, as you remember being treated the same by Kadir. The gaping wound that was still there just last night is now almost gone. Just a tender scar tissue-like spot marks what was a hole in your sternum. It's still a stranger realization as the last time. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away, but then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera, or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice.
I will pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the Prince. I am sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court.
Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. So, we could ask, what's going to happen to him? Or we could ask, good riddance? The guy's an asshole. Or we could ask, I'd do the same thing in his place. One, two, or three. What's it gonna be? Decisions. So, what's going to happen to him? Good riddance, the guy's an asshole. Or I would do the same thing in his place. Probably leaning toward the second option, but first option. Alright, we can go with that. So what's going to happen to him? What's going to happen to him?
The usual, I'd imagine. Interrogation by Kadir, probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial, with the Prince in attendance, if she's there tomorrow night. A swift execution as the verdict.
Sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow night. You haven't told me how you're hunting. Oh, sorry. It's not me.
You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope.
You know, I'm going to make a call on this one. Just to speed things along a bit. I think we're going to say the same thing we did. I'm going to say I tried, but the blood was awful. Yeah. My picky taste flared up again. I couldn't make myself drink from that man, even though I did bite him.
That is unfortunate. I'm afraid I don't have a ready-made solution for this. You'll need to trust your instincts. The sooner you learn what it is you're looking for in a vessel, the better.
She seems distracted, not all there. Thoughts drift and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment.
We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night.
Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves. Driven to her apartment by Gregory, with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past, unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass in the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take time to process. You're not in the mood for television. A few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak, or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door. A moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time, you turn the light off. You think back to Julie. How many people in this city know about this vampiric society? And how many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park. If he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? And how does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list instead of adding them to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms, like an old friend. And I think we will leave it there, but before we do, let's let's go for the new ones. Alright, so there are some dictionary definitions that we haven't read, so we'll start with the kiss. The act of drinking blood, usually from a mortal. The kiss causes feelings of ecstasy in those who receive it. The next one is the embrace. The act of transforming into a mortal into a vampire. The embrace requires the vampire to drain her victim and then replace that victim's blood with a bit of her own. Domain. The area of a particular vampire's influence. Princes claim entire cities as their domains, sometimes allowing lesser vampires to claim domain within. A lick. A derogatory term, usually addressed to young, inexperienced vampires. The Anarch movement. A vampire sect that opposes the tyranny of elders and has placed itself outside the secret society of the Camarilla, though that wasn't always the case. It's a fairly recent development. Court. The social system of a city's kindred, resembling the feudal system of mortals. At the top is the prince. Below them, the members of the Primogen Council. Order is the domain maintained by a sheriff. The gatherings are organized in secret sanctuaries known as Elysiums. And then Haven. A vampire's home or base, where they find sanctuary from the sun. And that, I think, will be the end of our stream tonight. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. I really do appreciate it. I hope you can join us next week. We'll be continuing on with Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments once this becomes archived for watching later on. And yeah, just for full details, to give you the full details, we'll be streaming this at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or Australian Eastern Brisbane Time, which to our international friends is UTC or GMT plus 10. So that's 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Brisbane Time, that's UTC plus 10. I hope to see you then, and thank you so much for joining us once more, and we'll hope to see you next week. Until